Hey, what up guys, welcome to the channel. My name is Hugo Mesa and today we're going to talk about zines, more specifically DIY zines. Do it with your own crappy printer, and by crappy I mean depends on what you have available, but for the most part a simple house printer for day-to-day documents. A few tools, but nothing crazy expensive, no blurb, no Kinko's or any other printer service out there. Just you and your skills, and simple things that you can gather around, or easy access, as cheapest and best quality possible. So we're going to talk different levels and materials, but again, for the most part, it's stuff that you can go to Target and buy. Again, the printer doesn't need to be any crazy. I'm going to give you a few tips of where you can kind of sort of save some money here and there, and if you want to scale up a little bit more on the quality, also that, but definitely not blurb or anything like that. But let me explain you really fast why I did this. I feel like scenes are a great way to show your work, sort of, give it a different perspective of how you take pictures, how do you arrange your pictures to make it work, to have some sort of flow, kind of when you go through pages, the same way photo books or other scenes probably that you are being able to get your hands off. The photographer goes into that, like how you're gonna place them, what's the meaning, is there a topic or not. In my case, I want to make a scene sort of to celebrate these almost 3.5 years that I've been taking pictures. This scene is a compilation of that, nothing more than that really. There's not precisely a topic. I definitely arranged them to make it seem like there was a topic, or just to have certain make it visually stimulating and sort of have a sense of all this, because at the end of the day it's just a compilation of the pictures that I like the most in all these 3.5 years that I start, especially shooting film. So taking that, I didn't want to go into blurb. I thought it at first, and let me just show you the look of it. So there we go. I did it through blurb. Awesome book, to be honest. The quality is great, a little bit of fragile for my taste, but it works. Just showing you a few. Now, I don't have a problem with that. The problem was kind of the price. It was around 20 bucks for that. I don't complain. It's a magazine size. The quality is great, the print and everything looks amazing. I don't think anything blurred. The thing is, I was kind of like making it like a scene to give away to friends or fellow photographers or people around me, just to show my photography here and there. Again, nothing fancy. So my biggest problem is not, there's no DIY videos online about this photography scene. There are plenty and they're good, and I highly recommend you to keep digging, even if you find this video quite helpful. The problem was that most of them was like, sort of do it through Lightroom and again send up to blurb or some printer place. But I really want to go down like as cheap as possible. So I thought, you know what, I'm gonna need to do the research and I'm gonna need to do it by myself. Again, nothing against those DIY videos, but most of them are kind of like that. There's no really one, or again, there's tons of videos and it's hard to spend so many time watching every single one of them. But so far, and believe me, I watched plenty of them, they're not any of them like, let's do it with the printer that I have. My crappy printer is at home. So that's what we're going to do today. I'm going to show you how to do it. At the end of the video, here down below in the description section, I'm going to put links to some zip files where I have the Photoshop templates, in case you want to make it yourself easier, you don't want to deal with that. Even though I'm going to still explain, and you can do it with any other sort of, photography, sort of editing software that you have available, the principles are the same, so don't worry about it. But let's get started. I'm going to show you, my whole process from start to finish, and maybe these will be helpful for you or not, but there's an option. Again, I'm going to leave you the Photoshop files below in the description place. And at the end, I'm going to show you the end products, different type of papers, different approach. Again, get a cup of coffee, a beer or something, because this is going to be a tiny bit long. All right, guys, let me give you another look on these blurred ones, the blurred print that I did. This isn't full color. Just to give you again another look of this before we jump on the process. So the first process is to choose the pictures. Each of one of the pictures you're gonna choose. Before we go more in advance, the printer that I have in my hands is a Brother MFC-J435W. I'm gonna put a link in the description to take you what kind of print I have. This is one of those printers that go, on the bottom. They extract the paper from the bottom. That's the first thing that you need to notice. Like, it's the paper coming from the top or it's going from the bottom, because that will be really important, because my printer is not an automatic flip printer. There's some fancy, especially if you go to Kinko's, you will see it, that they print both sides automatically. You don't need to do anything. In my case, I had to do it manually. As soon as the paper comes out, I put it back and print the second side. So again, you need to check the specifications of your printer. Another thing is my printer only handles 32, supposedly only handles 32 pound paper, which is the thickness of the paper. That's another important part. The thicker the paper, it kind of looks a little bit better, but also the handling is a little bit difficult. I cheat on mine. I put 100-pound paper, which supposedly doesn't use it, so I have to sort of find a way. It worked. It's just a lot of more details and quickness, but there you go. So what I did is I print a really low quality with the same printer that I just mentioned. Really low quality pictures, you can see, and then cut them, and I start laying the pictures on my table and try to figure it out, the arrangement, which one pair with which one. So this is another important thing. We only see books like, oh, there's 2 pages, two by two. But in reality, the way it works, and this is my dummy, this is where I start, it's 4 sides each page. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's how you need to start thinking also on your arrangement. Cover by cover, the 2 empty pages, or if you want to put a 1 page at the end or another one, image and image. Hopefully this makes sense, because believe me, I made a lot of mistakes until I get to where I want to be. So that's, for example, that's it. And then the next page, I need to think again. These are the photos that I pair. These card photos right here, black and white. These are what I wanted. But it's not like I put it side by side right away. If I move this page, here is paired with other picture, doesn't have anything to do. And then the other ones. So highly recommended that you kind of count how many pictures you have, and then count. For me was 31 pictures from 32, I think. 32 pictures, so that way you know how many numbers. So then you count 32 pictures, you use how many pages. In my case were 9 pages, obviously divided by 2, 18 single pages for the 32 pictures. Once you have how many pages you're going to use, you fold them in half, and now you start checking the arrangement and numbering the pages. Numbering your page. Here's number 1. Number 1, and that's my number 1 page. That's where we're going to start. And then hopefully you can see this, but it's a little bit difficult at first, or kind of quirky, but then it becomes really easy. So number 2, number 3, 4, 5, etc., until the end. And again, you glue the, you don't skip. You start gluing the way you arrange. Photo 1, photo 2, photo 3, and then 4 and 5, the way you want to arrange it. So by the end, when you start doing your template on Photoshop or whatever software, you have your guide and you don't get lost in which picture it was and whatever. So this is my dummy, and this is sort of how it worked. Hopefully it makes sense for you. I'm trying to explain as best I can. But if you have questions, remember, don't hesitate to ask me or even send me a direct message. I can give you more, tips or explain better. But I think it makes sense. I mean, it's making a book. But yeah, that's the first big step. Once you have your dummy, your guidance, everything else, it's pretty easy. Don't try to be smart, because that's what I did. Like, oh yeah, it's fine, I got it. And then I did the prints and it didn't work. But this is the first step. This is the first thing you have to do to start your zine. Always have a dummy, unless, if you're gonna print a blurb or a printer. Even if you go to a printer like Kinko's, still is a good idea to have something like this. Blurb, not that many. You don't need to worry about it. You put them on the software, and for the most part, it's fine. It's like doing the book in Lightroom. So that's not a big deal. So let's jump to the other part of the process. All right, guys, we're gonna check right now my templates on the zine. So I have my zine layout, and remember that we have the dummy. You can see I name it every single document for separate, right here, all the way to page 32. But you can see the numbers are sort of in a different position. The 1 goes with 32 because, if you remember, there's 4 sides of the page. So let's go to the cover. So let's go to the cover and cover back. Here's the cover and cover back. Obviously I did in Photoshop, but like I say, you can use the other software that's for photo editing or like visual edit graphics. So here goes. I have my normal 8 by 11.5, which is the size, 8.5 by 11, which is the size of regular paper on a printer. What I did is I put this line right here, which is right on half of the page from the 11 inches side. And you have your one side and the other, and that's how you're gonna know how to print it and how to lay out and arrange everything. So here you see one side is the cover, and then the back cover. Let me open then the inside cover and back cover. So I put a little introduction here, but you kind of start noticing the arrangement. So these two goes together when I print my printer, when I do the manual thing. I'm gonna demonstrate that in a second. So as you see, it comes one side, and then I need to put it in a specific way so it prints in the arrangement that I plan here in Photoshop. So that's something you need to figure out with your own printer, because in this process, at least I waste some paper, which I don't feel that great that I did it, but it is what it is. But that's how it works. It's figuring out your specific features on your printer and how it works with the software. For example, here, as you see, I can print directly from Photoshop, so I don't need to go any other or export anything else. Just save the file, and from there I can print and do my more copies if I want. So that's That's how it worked. Let me show you here page 1 and page 2. So again, it may seem a little bit weird at first, but once you start printing, and again, don't feel bad if you made mistakes. It is what it is. But see, it's 1 and 32 goes together because when it folds, then it follows the arrangement that you have in your dummy. 2 and 31, this is gonna line up with here with the number 1. And then if we follow 3 and 30 with 4 and 29, this 3 right here is gonna align with the 2, and it's gonna make sense. Instead of 31, once you fold and arrange everything, here is gonna be the number 3. So again, just follow your dummy and everything. It's really simple. Yes, sure, it's quirky and weird at first, but just give it a try and find by yourself what to do. But here it is. These are all the files, and I'm going to put in the description with the link, with just the blank. I'm not going to put the pictures, but just blanks, and with the numbers. And you can, hopefully with this you have an idea and you can follow by yourself. Again, if you make a dummy, all these, it's more easy and makes more sense. But I think the most important part is finding if your printer has, if it has automatic flip, like you print both sides, you're on the other side of the fence. It's way more easier. Mine supposedly have, and then didn't have, and well, I have to figure it out. I waste, not waste, but I spend so much time trying to figure it out this. So here it is, guys, the final print with all the arrangement. This was the first one I did with regular paper. Any paper that you find on Target or any other like store that you can find, school stuff or any store like that. You can see a little bit here that some of the bleeding, and that happen is normal, and like these more regular paper is not that thick. It's your average paper you can find anywhere. Still, I mean, I don't mind, again, for my goals or what I want to achieve. This is fine. Like, I feel comfortable giving this to somebody just to, enjoy the photos. And like you can say, I put my info here in the back, just, in case. And you never know where you're going to find a gig or something. So that's helpful. But again, overall, it looks great. It's not that bad. Another tip that I will give you, it's especially my printer is outdated. Like, it's not even, they don't sell it anymore. It's pretty old. It's like 5 or 6 years old. I buy non-brand ink, and I save a lot of money. And in my experience, because I printed before pictures like this on regular paper with the original ink and the non-branded one, I don't see any difference, to be honest. And for this, again, it works for me. You save a lot of money on that because original cartridges ink tend to be pricey. So keep in mind that. Go to Amazon, check your brand and model, and most likely you're gonna find a non-branded inks, and they're great. So this is the sort of the 2.0 version. Let me show you the final version that I put a few details just to make it a little bit better, and again, as much quality you can give. So here it is, guys. This is the final product finish, top, bottom. The only big difference on this, I put this sort of transparent film paper. I mean, it doesn't add like crazy detail or anything, but I just make it, I think it make it great to sort of protect the paper, and it gets fingerprinted. It's a fingerprinter magnet, but I don't care. This is more like protection. It's kind of like those protections on books. There's their function, really. Over time they get tear apart and everything, but the book is in great and pristine conditions. This is not gonna be a substitute of that, but it gives a different look and feel. And again, it's just that protection. Fingerprints are everywhere, but it is what it is. So if you notice, the big difference on this from the other 2.0 is the paper. This paper is way thicker. It's 100 pounds. I think the next one is 120, and that's like the thickest paper that you can find. And you can see the bleeding is not even there, barely. You can notice it a little bit, but it's like you need to put it against the light to even like be able to notice it. Where the other one is like it's right there. And I like these paper. Look, it works great. The only thing is kind of hard sometimes when you finally fold everything. You need to staple it, like you see. I staple it. Sorry, I staple it right there. 3 staples, and you know I use a regular stapler. Let me show you. It's just this one right here. It's a regular stapler that you can find in your regular store. It's a Bustish brand. Hopefully that's how I pronounce it. But this is what I use, and it's nothing crazy. You need to put force, obviously, because the paper is really thick. Anything beyond 30 pictures, I wouldn't recommend use this paper, because then, unless you have a really great stapler or you have access to it. If you want to compromise a little bit, the 60-pound version or paper works really great too. It's thick enough. And then I find another one that was kind of like interesting. Give me a second. Let me bring you, because I did a black and white, and I make also a color one. So here we go. This is 32-pound paper, but the interesting part is it's like a different tone, has a different tonality. It's kind of yellowish, kind of like Marfil, I think that's the word, tone or something like that. And I found a special deal on Target. It was on sale, and I just bought it just to see what happened. The thing is, I didn't like how the black and white picture looks on this paper, but the color, it gives a nice tone to them. They kind of pop, and this is the paper I use for the color ones. So tons of options, and here's where it comes, like how you personalize your work or different type of scenes and projects that you want. But overall, I really like the whole process, making the mistakes to get to this point and this final thing. I'm gonna give it away again to friends and fellow photographers or whoever really is interested or want to get a copy of this. That's what I'm gonna do, and that was the final goal. Eventually, I will want to make a proper scene where I sell a few copies and have some more story on it than a compilation. But I like it. I really like the final product. So that's it for today, guys. Sorry it was a little bit speedy. I try to give you sort of the basics of it, and then hopefully you can get a hang of it. I trust. It's not that hard. Again, and if you made a mistake, just do another one, and it is what it is. It happened to me a lot. But again, the template is going to be download in the description. And again, if you have questions or anything like that, don't hesitate to ask me, and I will try my best to answer those questions the best of my capabilities can, let me or allow me. But before, we finish this video, also, I know this is sort of a little bit like too much, I guess, maybe for you. It's been fun doing this for as constant as I can, like almost for a year. And it's been, I think 2 weeks ago, it went to 100 subscribers, which again is not a lot, but it is for me, because I think I said it before, didn't do it for, I was just trying to make it for fun, a way to sort of regurgitate my knowledge and learn again back and have some feedback. But it's been great to even exchange a few comments with some of you guys. It's been fun. And it's been fun that you kind of sort of watch my journey to as photographers, even though it's not like a big deal, and I'm not making a big deal, but in a way it is for me. Again, thank you for that, for keeping sharing and liking and commenting and all that stuff, because it's been really a really great learning experience for me. So on that, or at least for the people that have been constant looking here in the content that I've been putting on YouTube, I want to make a small giveaway. Again, I don't want to make it like this insanely big thing, but I want to do a way to, sort of say thank you to each one of you that put some time on watching like a minute or 5 or as many videos as you're seeing on this channel. So again, don't get too like super excited. They're small things, but they're, you know, great things. So the first one is gonna be this BBTAR PN 2011. I did 2 videos on this little camera. I don't use it that much, it's not my thing. But if you find it, you know, if you want it, you know, you want to experiment with this little camera, that will be awesome. And I'm gonna put a roll of these Agfa Photo 400 APX photo together. That's gonna be one of the giveaways. The other 2 are gonna be these blur version of the Zine I made, the DIY. These are, you know, the nicer ones, but I think it will be great to some of you guys to have one of those. One is black and white, one is color. Again, I show how great they look, and all you have to do is just to leave what's been your most challenging experience with film so far. Like, I don't know, some experience where you open your camera and the film wasn't even, you know, roll, or something funny, or something really bad, like a catastrophic event where you were in a gig or something like that and something went wrong, you know, something like that. I'm not gonna, you know, we're not gonna make it like the best, or just the one that caught my attention, you know, like, oh, that seems pretty cool or sad or fun. Again, there are not gonna be any requirements or anything sort of like that, so I don't want you to feel discouraged if you decide to enter this giveaway, because there's not a pattern, you know. It's just, I'm gonna choose like, oh, that seems pretty cool. So you can comment until next Wednesday-ish. Leave your comment, your worst or more interesting experience with film so far, and the 3 that I like the most, I'm gonna give, you know, I'm gonna send you a message. And definitely the one that I think is my favorite, I'm gonna give the camera and the film. The other 2, I will let you guys decide or something, or I'm gonna decide, so we don't make a big deal or a big mess. The three most interesting, the one that I really like the most, definitely is gonna take the camera, and then I'm gonna send the other 2 to the other 2 stories. Doesn't need to be like really big. Just put it there until the next Friday. I'm gonna, you know, stop reading messages until midnight, and then the next video will announce who win the things. And don't worry, I'm gonna take care of the shipping no matter what, where you live around the world, unless there's like a crazy thing that I can't email or send it like, to that part. Every other place around the world is fine. I will take care of the shipping. So there you go, some giveaway, some thank you for you guys. But anyways, this is the video of today, the Zine doing it DIY yourself. Hopefully, if you do it, maybe you can share your experience here in the comments, or send in some pictures here in the video so we can see your product, or even better, you can, you know, let us know how we can get a copy of your Zine. And share, subscribe, and all that boring stuff, but we don't care. That's all for today. Thank you for, again, all the support. Let's try for more things, more content is coming, slowly, steady. But I want to try a few interesting things with this. Sorry for the length of this video, but if you're still here, thank you again so much. And just load, film, shoot, develop, repeat, and let's keep rolling with this film stuff. And until the next one, adios.